7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yes, and a warm welcome to everybody tuning in, and of course, everybody present here. Yeah, good that you're here. Yay! Today is a very special day here in New Metropolis Zuidoost because it is part of the Image Summit with Views. And researching the city, mapping imaginaries, this program has been developed at Research Cities and Visitors by the Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences Hogeschool van Amsterdam. And it's enhanced in cooperation with partner cities Barcelona, Lisboa, Paris, Wien, and with the eyes of connections beyond Medellin, Boston, Almaty, San Diego, who knows? And so this afternoon is a cooperation between Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences and New Metropolis Zuidoost, thanks to Angelique Hoogmoed and Marie Toen. And yeah, a little applause there as well, right? Yeah. In researching the city mapping imaginaries, connections with cities from within are being made. And the universities and students are taking their role as part of a whole and learning and engaging with the areas in which the universities are located. What you will see, amongst others, is an illustration on how hip-hop has developed in Amsterdam Zuidoost and became an eye-opener and a bridge to the world. In this sense, hip-hop has become a mindset, a way of finding freedom and autonomy and cooperation, flair and thoughts that we are all inspired by. And behind me, we have some really nice footage there, some really nice views. And I'm going to Maarten van der Burg. Maarten. Hi, welcome as well. What do I see there on the screen?
We created some visuals, some moving visuals. It's not a film. It are urban screens. Usually I project outside buildings, but this time we are inside the building, and I want to illustrate what you are telling or what you are telling with some imagery. And I want to be not that it is the picture shows what you're telling, but there will be some contrast between what you're telling and what you are telling and the images there. It's all improvisation, it's VJing, so I listen very carefully to what you are saying, and I listen very carefully to, and then I find an image. So sometimes there will be a nanosecond delay. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, great. And I'm also curious, Maarten, what is your connection actually with this project?
Well, one of the connections is seated over here. That are the students I worked with in the Power of Images film course. So, and they are very creative. I learned a lot from them. There will be some imagery from them, of course, into it. And another connection is just the team, the persons I know from the sister universities, and I know them personally, so I'm very glad to see you here again. And I'm very grateful that you're looking to my work. So thank you for attending.
Yeah, and Maarten, can you explain me, because of course this morning there was also a session in which we were talked about also the importance and also the power of images. How important are these images, and did that change over the years?
Oh yes, they are very important. That is of course what you know. And it's very important now, that's a kind of second generation of working with imagery, that you really have to tell a story with it. So it must not be illustration, because you are all experienced viewers. You're very literate looking at images. So that for us image makers is giving us a severe task to work on that. But we can't do without images. Imagine that there was not this. Yeah? would be lost in space. So that's what we're working on, and it's very important. And well, every picture tells a story, you know, all those cliches, but it's true.
It is true. And another thing that I'm thinking about, and I don't know if this is important. I think it is, right? Yeah. Oops.
So we're
Oops, we're connected again. And another thing I'm thinking about is that images are also, how can I say, it's universal. Not always, because we might not understand the pictures that we're seeing, but at least language is another thing, and image is visual and is maybe easier to.
It's not the word is easier. It's not that, but there's something terrific important. But because people are remembering images better than words. And that's very strange, because when you've seen an image somewhere, you know exactly where you saw it and why, and it's in your mind. So this part of the memory where we're playing it, it's enormous, and it's very accessible there. And of course, without text, it wouldn't work. So I'm not denying how important language is. And so, but this is a visual language, and we call this, but that's too academic for now, literacy. It's because you are literate persons, you are experienced looking at images, you can make right interpretations out of it, you can see what's false and what's true, and that's fantastic. That's what we have to work with. And I must say that the students over here, they help me working out these thoughts, because we make short films. And that there are always a kind of, we call it in the Dutch vingeroefeningen. So they are making things, and we explore the importance of imagery. That's good. And very important is that Nuria is here, because
Why is that important, Martin?
she's very important because she is making the foundation, the fundament under all these explorations. So I think you need an applause. No.
Yes. Yes, because Nuria, you organized this event as well together, of course, with your colleagues. But I think, Martin, you're right. She's important, and sometimes it's good to applaud for people. Yeah.
In this special case, I had to. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think I'll be with you later again, and maybe sometimes there are some things that you can elaborate on. Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you, Martin. Applause for Martin. Yes. And for now, I would like to welcome Professor Soortkill from SMIP. Yeah. Welcome. Should I say Professor?
Yes. Sounds good.
Yes. Tell me more. Tell me more about Professor Soortkill. First of all, where does this name come from?
In 2017, I put out a book. And after I put out the book, everybody called me a rapper. Don't know why, because I rock around with a lot of musicians. I think that's it. But I published the book, write it myself. So then I was like, okay, if I did that and they still would call me a rapper, I could also call myself a professor. Because I also have the Imaginaries University, and on every university, professors lecture and give lessons, so yeah.
Okay, so you said that really quick, and I'm sure that a lot of people did not understand that. Can you repeat that? Because, like you said, you have a university, and how is it called?
The Imaginaries University, that's how it's called.
And what does that mean, Imaginaries, for the people who don't know?
It stands for something. It doesn't mean anything specifically. I think it stands for something. It stands for a culture rooted in southeast of Amsterdam. And yeah, that's how I named it, because I'm part of a collective called SMIP Worldwide. And we're a creative collective doing all kinds of things. And we also have our own way of talking. And our way of talking is not our way of talking. It's more the way a lot of people in this neighborhood and different parts of Amsterdam talk. And at some point I was like, yo, we should just embrace the way we talk and give it a name by ourselves because before that it was called street language, and I didn't think that really explained and covered what it actually is. And yeah.
So okay, so what is it actually? You're just saying, you know, you actually you started to own it instead of, you know, being said, oh, that's street talk or street language. You said, no, this is our language, and you gave it a name. And why is that important?
Because I see language as a tool, and when you look at it as a tool, you can use the tool for different occasions. And I tried to start writing, and the friends I was with were making music, and all of us were living using this language. So it was like, yo, why shouldn't we use this tool, this language, in a more broader sense, besides the music, and also start writing books, for instance, with this way of talking. Yes, exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And what does this mean for the identity of people?
I think you should just embrace who you are, where you're from, and what you got from where you're from. And I think we're just an example of people doing that. And I think that's important because people grow up with a notion. People in this neighborhood and also neighborhoods that are kind of similar grow up with a notion that the way they are isn't the way they're supposed to be. And I always was like, nobody could tell me how I supposed to be. I decided myself. So yeah, from that point on, I think everything I do and all the work we did is kind of how you say that, expression and also example of showing you can embrace yourself and still and embrace the differences you have in yourself and show it to the world and be a add on to what's already known. I don't know if I say it in the most clear way, but yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let us talk more a little bit about because there's also a book, right, about Imaginaries. Explain what is that exactly?
For me and for us, it's kind of a operation manual, or not an operation manual, more a dictionary for all the books that are gonna come afterwards. But at first, it was more explanation of the language, so you can get a more in-depth view of what we're actually saying, and that it actually has a sense to it, instead of that people think it's just out of lack of speaking Dutch or anything else. So I think it's more explanation to also show the world that it's more, and it's kind of as every other language is.
And I think it's good to maybe tell, because Smibanese is really from this area, from the BIMS, right? And it's the BIMS the other way around, SMIB. And it's also it is the language combined. Let's say a lot of languages are combined in Smibanese, right?
Yeah, it's kind of in Dutch they call it pidgin taal. I don't know, maybe it's pidgin language in English. But it's kind of a mixture of different cultures coming together and find a way to communicate with each other while still having their own influence in the way they talk. So like Dutch is the way we talk out here, but you got all different cultures and they have their own ways of speaking, ways of articulating things, because that's also in part that I should talk about, because language holds thought processes. Like every language has thought processes underlying in the language. So let's say, for instance, in Dutch we have words, we call it mannelijk, vrouwelijk, and omzijdig.
Male, female.
Male, female, and what's omzijdig? In between male and female. Let's call it that. Let's call it that. But in France, for instance, you only have like male and female words. So that's also, so for instance, if you have a group of, let's say you have 3 women and 1 guy, you still, when you talk to them, you have to talk to them as if they are 4 men.
Yes,
And that's because that's the French language. So French language, in that case, holds kind of thought process within the way they speak and the way they explain things. And I think this Smibanese also has that, and every language has that. And I kind of forgot what the question was.
Doesn't matter because I'm really yeah, great. No, I'm really curious. Give some examples because I'm sure that a lot of people are curious, you know, to some examples of this Smibanese. So how does it work? How is it built up? Can you give an example of that?
If I should be very honest with you, it comes very natural with me. So I'm not in a situation where I really can explain like how it works. I think it comes very natural.
Maybe a sentence.
I don't know if they will understand.
No. It's not about. You tell them and then you explain.
Ben aan het bewegen. Ik ben aan het bewegen. And if you listen to that and if you like translate it literally is I am moving, but
Means totally different.
yeah, but bewegen has a lot of more meanings to it. And I think that's also part of Smibanese, that you got Dutch words that have a different meaning and also more meanings to it than how it's traditionally known. Yeah. So like, for instance, gaande. Gaande is also a word. Like, for instance, gaande is not a word people use that often in Dutch, but in Smibanese we use it every day and in every sense. Like, my outfit is gaande, my kicks are gaande, the way we move is gaande, maybe this event is gaande, maybe I'm going to another event that's gaande. But what is gaande? You know, so you have different meanings to it. So I think, yeah, that's a good example of a word.
Yeah, nice. And the thing is, it's from the context you understand what it means actually, right? And so that's a really nice. And you have that in more languages actually. Yeah. But it's really interesting. And so this university, if anybody wants to learn Smibanese, they can go to this university.
No, the university is not for the language. I think the university is more a place. And that's also the thing. The university is not a physical place. It's not a place where you can go to. It's more a mind state. It's more the ideology, a way of living. And the thing with Smibanese and the Smibanese University is we speak in the Smibanese language. So it's not that you can learn Smibanese out there, or if you adapt to the ideology, you understand how you can speak Smibanese. It's more like the lifestyle and the whole ideology that's within the way of speaking and the way of talking and living. That's part of the Smibanese University, and that's something you can get hold of if you follow the Smibanese University.
And do you need to live in Zuidoost, or can Smibanese be positioned in another place as well?
It's universal. I think it's universal. SMIP Worldwide is called SMIP Worldwide for a reason. We're not like limited to the place we're from. And I think the language is a tool, just as Dutch is a tool or English is a tool. Like, for instance, I'm here and I'm talking English because everybody can understand it. But what if we were in China, for instance? Maybe I would speak a different language. So it's always context. It's always in connection to the context and the place you're talking to. And Smibanese is also like, it's just a tool. It's just a tool, and I think it's a good way to speak to a lot of people that understand things better when they hear it in Smibanese.
Yeah.
So,
and also I think a very important part is this thing of identity, because by saying this is Smibanese and it's ours and that's what we speak, you also, and by writing a book about it, you also give it identity and it exists, and it's not like you said in the beginning, it's not something that is, something that is there and you're not able to speak a good Dutch or whatever. It is something. And one last thing, because of course this image and is also about different places. And you said you are in contact. So SMIP is worldwide. Do you have contacts abroad? Yeah, for example, with who do you have contacts, and what is it that you talk about then?
Like for instance, we had a pop-up store in Japan. That was 2017, around the time I put out the book. So it was even before the whole Swedish University thing came about. But we just move around the world. Like we've been to Germany, for instance, the UK, France. Like, but the thing is, the mindset is worldwide. I think that's the most important thing. Like you have to think. How can I say this in the best way? You have to grow out of the place you're from.
Yeah.
And I think SMIP is also like everything we're trying to do, it's not based on our location, it's based on the world, but we represent our location.
Yeah.
So it's not even that important that we have like because we do have contacts around the world, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that the thing we trying to represent and the thing we stand for and the thing we trying to communicate and the way we trying to inspire the world, that's a message for the world. So that's why we call it SMIP Worldwide. So also the Swedish University, we don't even, like most people that follow the Swedish University aren't even from the Bijlmer. They are from a lot of different places from all.
So they're just interested in your story.
Just interested because it's more like even our old fan base as SMIP. We got like fans in Belgium, for instance, all corners of Holland. So it's not like it's Bijlmer orientated. It's more we represent the Bijlmer, and I think that's also a thing you see in hip hop. Like if you look at hip hop here or everywhere in the world, people represent where they're from, and we just do the same thing in our way.
Great story. Thank you very much, Professor Shortkill, for this inspiring story. Thank you. Yeah. Then, for now, I would like to introduce the master of sceneries, and that is Ocean. Yes. Yeah, Ocean. Welcome. So good to have you here. I want to. Before you start performing, I want to ask you a question, because you have arrived at a certain moment, at a certain point in your career. Can you tell me where did you start and where are you now? The short version.
Okay, so then I'm gonna talk about Ocean because Guillermo Blinker is the carrier of Ocean. I think it's very much a spiritual journey. I think that when I was young, I expressed myself creatively through dance and music, and then in the world we live in, there was a certain pathway to go through sort of academic situations and schools and institutions to learn about that. And I sort of made that entire journey, and then I realized that actually my ancestral heritage that I come from also practices all of these things like song and dance and bringing all that together in a space with people. And then I wanted to build a bridge because there was a sort of a separation of the spaces in which I was sort of as an academically trained dancer, singer, etc. And then there was this need to connect with something ancestral, which for me is Suriname, which for me is our spiritual practice of Vinti, and how that I realize now is a very holistic practice that sort of I saw very much being sort of in the sort of new age movement. I saw a lot of things that I was like, okay, but that's basically home. So I went back home, and then in that whole journey, somehow there, the essence of what I found was water. Also because water is the connecting force that connects us all. Water is also a lot to do with the story, how my ancestors moved from continent to continent. It's also an element that we use a lot in our rituals. And we are 80% of it. So I think if we are looking for something to connect us, I think water is a good element to start. And I am Ocean, O-T-I-O-N, because I love to fuck with language that way. And it's also a reminder that I'm part of something that's bigger than me, which is a representation of that. So that's Ocean, short version.
Very nice story, yes. I love the story. And I think we should just go and listen to you and to what it is you have to give to us. Yeah, looking forward. Go ahead. Floor is yours, Ocean, ladies and gentlemen.
Check, check, check. So I think the first thing that's nice to do is to acknowledge that we're all here together. And we're all doing the same thing the whole time and we're not conscious of it, which is breathing. So let's breathe together. Are we okay? Want to breathe together? I see a nod. Yeah, it's good. Breathing's good. So I'm going to guide it. Yeah, so when I snap my fingers, we breathe in, we hold it, snap, breathe out. Very easy. Let's go. And breathe in. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in. All right. For the last one, on the exhale, like give a little sigh, like let your voice vibrate, right? When you make sound, it's sort of like your being is interacting with the air, and then we hear you are here. So let's do that one more time. Breathe in.
Black man look purple in the moonlight. I'm made of rainbows, but that's not my phenotype. Expose me to sunlight, I'ma shine bright. Cause I carry crystals on the inside of my bloodline. Got you digging and diving for meaning. When you figure me out, I change my figure and I go back to my liquid state. I'm like a rain shower, like water running down your body, dripping down in your ocean, making ripples in the water, bringing you back in motion. I'm like a rain shower, like water running down your body, dripping down in your ocean, making ripples in the water, bringing you back in motion. Agua traelo futego. Agua traelo futego. Agua traelo futego. Agua traelo futego. Agua traelo. I'm like a waterfall. Sometimes I'm like a river. Sometimes I'm like the ocean when the wind blows. You make me ripple. You make me ripple. You make me ripple. Your energy is moving me. It's invisible, but I can feel it. It makes you ripple. I make you ripple. Down the river flowing free. Don't you love it when it's playful? The way I make you ripple. Agua tráelo. Dive in the ocean, you wanna go, or dive in the ocean, you wanna go. Dive in the ocean, you wanna go, or dive in the ocean, you wanna go. Dive in the ocean, you wanna go, or dive in the ocean, you wanna go. I feel my water body flowing in and out of time. I'll be swirling round and round and round dizzy. You wanna catch my wave before you miss me. And I've got rivers flowing in between the cracks of my knowing, running down my face when I'm holding on too long. Overwhelming like a waterfall in the ocean, evaporated when my body hot from the motion, tripping, dripping slowly when I'm sexing you. Out of body when the rhythm right, dancing all through the night, tripping, tripping slowly, let it nurture you. I know my water body is a place for infinite diving. All the mystery that it's hiding, rising up to the surface. Let me reflect back what you give me, and watch me ripple when you drop into me. Swimming, bathing in my love. Overwhelming like a waterfall in the ocean, evaporated when my body hot from the motion, tripping, tripping slowly when I'm sexing. You're not you, and you're not you. Out of body when the rhythm right, dancing all through the night, sipping, sipping slowly, let it nurture you. I can feel my water body, make me feel my water body. I can feel my water body, make me feel like. I can feel my water body, make me feel my water body. I can feel my water body, make me feel like. Thank you. Let me play around with my set a little bit. So the next song is about
You know when you feel you have to change, like there's something in you, in your life that has to change, and sometimes when you have to change, something in you has to die, like metaphorically, like you have to die, so die before you die, so you can live before you die. Well, this song is about that. It's called Underneath.
My star's been lazy. It's like it just don't feel like shining. Reflecting on the water, but fading, getting softer. I don't dive, 'cause life's been good on the surface. Good life. Feelings hide them quick. Nobody notices. They don't get into it. They don't get into what's underneath. When I dip my toes in, undercurrent pulling me all in. Hold my breath, max retention. Heavy body sinking, feeling. Let go, let go, let go. Just die, just die. Don't be afraid. There's life beyond the surface. Adventures and travel beyond the surface. I'm contemplating if the adventure's worth the cost. Surrendering to maybe I do it on the daily. I'll be fine if I don't mess with the current status. Just don't rock the boat. Everybody prefers this. They don't get into it. They don't get into what's underneath, 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 underneath. When I dip my toes in, and the current pulling me all in. Hold my breath, max retention. Everybody thinking, feeling. Let go, let go, let go. Just die, just die. Don't be afraid of life beyond the surface. Adventures and travel. When I dip my toes in, undercurrent pulling me all in. Hold my breath, max retention. Everybody thinking, feeling. Let go, let go, let go. Just die, just die. Don't be afraid of life beyond the surface. Adventures and travel beyond the surface.
Yes, yes. All right. Pour some water first. Was this a good day? Was this a good summit conference thing? Yeah? Okay. Okay. Not everybody said something, so maybe that's for the organization. Yeah. So this next song, Het is nu is het goed. Maar er moest veel aan te pas komen om het nu goed te maken. But now I'm having a blast. Like, dit is waarvoor ik leef, so I'm great. Maar dankjewel voor het vragen. Switching back to English. So the next song is called Medicine Man. And it's basically a story about my journey to self-healing. It's sort of like you search for something outside of yourself to realize it's inside of yourself. So in that sense, I was looking for the medicine man. If the song moves you, feel free to move. I know we're sitting on chairs, which is not really like a natural human thing, so we're conditioned to this, but if you feel like you want to move or stand up or walk, I always very much welcome that. Just not here. Yeah.
I was soaking my tired ass feet in a pool of confusion, losing momentum, keep on running. It was a fun, but I had to keep it going, knowing that everybody's on to my scam. Yeah, Mandel. I thought I was gonna get away with it, now I gotta get away before daylight. Catch yourself at the night, exposing the games that I played right. Fictional truth, I right, wrong. No, I'm not gonna go, gonna turn around, face the music and dance with my demons, romance. Face them head first, I'm thirsty. I'm not gonna drink the Kool-Aid, it's too dirty. Feel with all of that escapism running down my chin, and the fool I kiss 'em. I really need, I'm looking for the medicine man who can help me numb my pain, numb my pain. Medicine man, yeah. I'm looking for who can help me numb my pain, numb my pain. I need a medicine man, looking for medicine man, yeah. I know me, you know my little boy, nana. I know me, you know my little boy, nana. I know me, you know my little boy, nana. I know me, you know my. I was lost, I fell down in a rabbit hole, looking for an antidote to heal my soul. I wanna find a light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't know who to follow. Too many shots I swallowed. I was sipping on that juice, tasted like the truth, sweet like sugar, but I still feel blue, feeling the bad juju. This ain't no magic potion, my feet can't handle the motion. I'm swimming in an ocean of confusion with my demons. Me today. Dance with my demons, romance with my demons, dance with your fucking demons, people. You need to face them head first, you're thirsty. You're not gonna drink the Kool-Aid, it's too dirty. Doing all of that escapism, running down my chin, and the fool I kiss 'em. I really need, I'm looking for the medicine man who can be numb my pain, numb my pain. Yeah. I really need, I'm looking for the medicine man who can be numb my pain. I need a medicine man, looking for medicine man. Yeah. I know me, you know my little boy, nana. I know me, you know my little boy, nana. I know me, you know my little boy, nana. After searching for the medicine man and not finding the medicine man, I decided to become the medicine man. So I turned myself into a little psychedelic potion and I drank it. And my whole world changed. A portal opened and a voice came through and it spoke to me. Let me be the channel, I can be the channel. Turned up speaker on level eternal, keeping up the tempo, mixing at the planetary table. I crossfade between dark and light. You gotta listen up because there's no rewind. Fast forward to progress your mind while your heartbeat keeps the time. Let me mediate the conversation between universal energy and humanity. I will allow the wisdom to flow. I will be the translator, translate high frequencies into melodies. And that voice has a name, and the name is Ocean. And the name is Ocean. And the name, yeah. Ocean coming at you like a tsunami. If you can't handle it, it's you, not me. Shit, you gotta be ready to dive deep. You gotta turn your mind into a submarine. I'm the prophecy. I was predicted on walls depicted for centuries. Don't fuck with me. I've been here before. Started to remember why I came back for more. Ocean coming at you like a tsunami. If you can't handle it, it's you, not me. Shit, you gotta be ready to dive deep. You gotta turn your mind into a submarine. I'm the prophecy. I was predicted on walls depicted for centuries. Don't fuck with me. Look up to me. Your eyes in the sky as you get lifted, tilting your head cause your mind shifted, looking at the world from a different angle, looking at the intergalactic jungle. I can see clearly now, you really wanna be near me now. Reach out, I know you wanna get in touch with my crowd. In a minute y'all be screaming out loud. It's so orgasmic, fantastic, don't hold back, it's time to just blast it into infinity. Don't wait for the last bit, you motherfuckers just get on my rocket ship, trip intergalactic, come and get it. I know you wanna feel that shit, so you better come and get it. Wow. Thank you very much. That was my climax. That was my peak. I'm sweating. This was a lot of fun for me. I hope this was good for you too. And stop looking for medicine men or medicine women because you are it. All right.
Hey, aren't you all blown away? So beautiful, and it's nice how you work also with your energy, and it's really, we all feel it right here. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, one more big applause for Ocean. Yeah, and so now you have to. The awkward break. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, yeah. No, because I am going to Martin here. Because Martin, while he was doing his crazy, I don't know how to call it actually. It's really mind blowing. Sorry. Genius. It's everything. Yeah, genius. What more? What more words do we know? Genius. amazing, fantastic. What else? Sorry? Transcendence. Wow, Ocean. Yeah, that's what it was. While he was doing that thing, Martin, I also thought, wow, this background really fits to it.
More or less, I did my best because I was not sure what he was going to do. So, but I had something in the panel here to work with it, and I could make some effects that would underline what he was doing. And there are only 2 clips of him on television, so he needs more popularity to make more clips, because the Medicine Man is a beautiful one, and I used that one in here. That's it.
Do you hear that, Ocean? While you're cleaning up your stuff, you have to do more and put it on wherever so we can see it, so he can use it as a footage. One more time.
Okay, so I'm working on the album. It's my first one. It's coming out beginning 2023. So please, yes, make visuals for it. Tell your friends, listen to it, dance to it. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking forward, right? Looking forward to this album. Great. And in the meantime, if I'm correctly informed, some snacks, some little bites will go around, and there's still some more cocktails at the table. And by the way, cocktails. Is Jen available? Jen, are you there? Is Jen there? Oh, Jen, come up here. And bring one of your cocktails. Okay, good. So we're gonna have some cocktail time here. Oh, look at that. Jen, come here. Oh, yes. Jen's Caribbean Drinks. Hi, Jen, how are you?
I'm feeling good today, yeah.
And you brought some really beautiful cocktails. And I see this really nice blue color, and that reminds me of Curacao.
It is indeed. It's blue curacao, which is in this one.
Masha Dushi Miss.
Simper.
So tell me, when did you start? When did you start with the? Yeah? Nee, jullie horen in the here you don't hear anything, but the program is. Oh.
Okay, so the program is off now. Nah. I can drink with my cocktails in my hand.
Ik ga even kijken of dat op te lossen is. Ja. Mensen horen deze niet. Maar dus als Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? No? All right. Yes. A little. Can you hear me? Ja, oké. Marcel, dankjewel. Nou, Jen, mag ik je uitnodigen, Jen, met de cocktails? Want we hebben geluid. Can I invite you, Jen? And in the meantime, it's really a nice atmosphere in here. Everybody's having drinks and bites. So I'm really happy for that. And Jen, yeah, there is Jen. Because Jen makes all the cocktails. And she just had a blue cocktail and an orange cocktail. And I'm really curious, Jen, to hear, Jen, why did you start with making cocktails? How did it come? You started with that.
Actually, it's a hobby that got out of control, literally. In my youth, I've learned a lot of cocktail recipes because I'm half Dutch Antillian and half Surinamese. And on my Dutch Antillian side, we like to make cocktails. And I've learned these recipes from generation to other generations and so on. And then you end up with me. And a lot of people kept on asking me, like, can you make something? Just bring it to the party. And at that point, I couldn't keep track of the requests. And I was like, okay, it's time to start a business.
It's time to start a business. And like you just explained, you are actually a cocktail yourself.
I am.
A mixture of different cultures here in Zuidoost, and this mix of cultures. If you look, because you speak also different languages, right?
I do. I speak Snarantongo and I speak Papiaments. Yes.
And Dutch and English. So with that comes different languages as well. And this drinks, Jen. If people want to have drinks like this at their party, they can contact you at Jen's Caribbean Drinks?
Yes, I have an Instagram page that's Jen's Caribbean Drinks. I have a Facebook page that's Jen's. I have a WhatsApp number. You can also WhatsApp or call me, of course. And I also have a Snapchat, which is Jen's Caribbean DR.
But at the same time, you're also studying.
I'm also studying. I study at the university right now. I do a full-time study and I have my own business and I also work at the bank. So it's a full schedule, but I do enjoy everything.
Great to hear, and thank you so much for being here and yeah, making this really look like a party with all those beautiful cocktails. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Jen. And cheers to you all. Cheers, yes. And now I would like to invite my next guests here on stage. I would like to invite Gideon Everduim. Gideon, are you there? Where are you, Gideon? Yeah, you're on your way. Yeah, bring your cocktail, bring your cocktail. Okay. Gideon and Brian. Yeah. You know, everybody is enjoying the snacks and the drinks.
Gideon.
Yeah.
Is this really the moment to do that with all the cocktails and all the snacks?
This is bad timing, right?
It's bad timing.
We have drinks, we have snacks, party
Everything.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Can I invite you, Ocho and Ips? And Brian? Yeah? Welcome. Good to have you here, guys. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's right. Can I have an applause for these guys? So good to have you here. Yeah. And of course, Gideon, you were here this morning as well in the Raadzaal. And we heard a lot of things about the connection between cities. And I know you are a musician, but you're also very interested in politics and in structures concerning politics. What did you see? What did you hear this morning?
Interesting point of views of cities developing, cities who are getting more population. There's a really nice book that you can read. It's a Dutch book. No. It's even an English book, but they wrote it in Dutch. But it's the Trek naar de Stad, so the journey towards the city.
Yeah.
And it's all about those developing cities.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about that book is that it talks about migration. And it talks about migration in different ways. Economical ways, how immigrants come towards Europe for a better life. Also in that journey, finding work, getting that work, receiving money, but sending that money back towards the place where they came from, and what the effects of that journey is for the city. And what I heard this morning about those developing cities is one story about prosperity, economical gaps, but also strength, but also diversity and inclusion, and the story of the people from that same place. So we are here in Amsterdam Southeast, and it's a very prosperous place with a lot of wealth, and at the same time we don't see that wealth coming back towards society. So that was a really interesting point of view that a few people made, and what we need to do to change not only the image, but also to connect those important stories to this evolution that all these cities in Europe are evolving in and experiencing.
Yeah. Good. And at the same time, so I come here because you do really nice things, and I'm curious to hear. Brian Juan Pedro, which is also called the Park Father. Tell me more about the Park Father, Brian.
What do you want to know?
I want to know what it is you do, because you do a very interesting thing.
Oh,
with the bars.
I transform my neighborhood.
You transform your neighborhood, and how do you do that?
To using my mind, and that's it in a way of. And because I'm like the most problematic figure in the neighborhood, because I'm from Curaçao, and nobody wants to deal with us, even in the politics, the game that they play, the other darker people who are sitting there, talk good Dutch and things like that. But for us, we have a proudness that we don't need that.
Yeah.
And that's the same proudness that we have in hip-hop. And then the intelligence can go further on our own way, instead of asking other people for what. Normally, they're mentally poor, and that's why I don't need to, how do you call it? Proof. Because it's in the potting. And that's how I transform the neighborhood. I design parks so that we can maintain ourselves. And the parks are a park with bars. And in the bars, in the park, we have methodiek, hoe heet dat? Method? Method.
Yeah.
And it's called bartenders. And yeah, we're already doing it now like 15 years. And yeah, everybody know of us, but nobody really want to deal with us because we're too conscious for certain games. And that's kind of the way that I play my role.
Yeah, but that's really nice. So, okay, you're saying, nobody wants to get involved with us at first, nobody wants to see us. When did you decide, no, I'm not going to wait for people to see me. I'm going to make sure that I'm being seen?
Oh, no, I saw that from my father. He was always a carpenter, and he always built in his house. So I saw always constructions. And I'm also when I was young, was a carpenter. So I look at the construction. I don't look at people's, because they are normally depressive, of not good in a way of being. So that's why I'm looking at the construction, and I say, okay, because we are born into it. And a lot of people want to talk in the front of the stage, but I look at the construction and see that you don't do your homework. And that's what I'm teaching all my friends around me.
Yeah.
Look in what you're going into, instead of all the people is telling you this and that.
Yeah, good. So I go here between you guys. Ocho and Ips, yes. So what did Brian actually teach you guys?
Brian taught us mind up. Get your mind up. If you're stressed out, get your mind up. Train it. Train all the stress out, and just keep it pushing.
And so it's about a healthy lifestyle as well. Ocho and Ips, you're also famous for your healthy lifestyle. Tell me about it.
Yeah. What you want to know is like a way of life. Yeah. So we love.
But okay, what part? So I can think, like he said, he's the barman. No, he puts bars in the barrio, in the area, and that is where you are. You can train, so your body is one of the lifestyle things.
Yeah, it's like a full circle. It's mentally, it's physically, it's like growing, it's what you eat. It's like a full circle. So we do it all.
Nice. And is it important for you to also tell that to other people, or to teach it to other youngsters?
Yes, we stand for get the best out of yourself so you can get the best out of the people around you. And health is the basic form of that.
And how do you do that? I mean, how do you, let's so say it, how do you spread the word? How do you?
We're not men that talk very much. We're trying to be the example of what we're trying to see in the youth.
Yeah.
And that's our youngest right there. We give them rap workshops.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, we're just trying to be the example of what we're trying to see in the society.
Yeah. And how important is it? Because you just mentioned, you know, if you train, you lose maybe your frustrations or whatever. If you train, your mind gets better as well. How do you experience that?
It's like I can do it when I'm mad. I can do it when I'm happy. It's like a way of expression.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Therapy?
That's the word. It's like therapy. Yeah. So when I'm mad, when I'm happy, when I'm around with my boys, that's what we do.
And because you're also a rapper duo, right? And you were nominated for an Amsterdam Prize. So if you rap, what do you rap? What are your topics?
We're rapping about former experiences of our homies, friends, brothers, all the people around us. We talk a lot with them, and they tell us their story, and we're trying to express that through our music.
Yeah, and Brian just mentioned, like, you know, I'm not gonna wait until people see me. You know, I'm gonna just do my thing. Is that the mindset that you have as well?
Yeah, for sure. It's like we do it for ourselves also, so it's like just a way of expression, you know. And yeah, the message that we are pushing out is to help other people also. Yeah, it's a way of life.
And what do you see? Can you give us a, let's say, can you give us an insight of what you see around you with the youngsters? What is their life? What are their experiences?
We see that the young boys after us, a lot of them don't grow up with a father figure. We're also two men that didn't grow up with a father, so we're trying to fill up the gap that we didn't have. Yeah. So by being the example of some sort of big brother, so they can, we're trying to lead by example. Yeah. Yeah, like a big brother.
Very nice. And can I say that Brian was that big brother for you guys?
Definitely.
Brian, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, they were already busy with their own workout routines and things like that.
So you mean they were already on the way?
Yes, and I see just like you have people talk woke and the other one's conscious, and we are more on the conscious side doing our thing, and that's how we connect the dots in our own city. Yeah. You know, the city, we call it that consciousness in the youth, the CITY. So, and that's how we
consciousness in the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, city. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah.
So, and that's how we rock at the park.
Yeah, nice. So, I come back to you, Gideon, because I know you also did you did hip hop, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you did hip hop, also with a lot of young people as well.
Exactly.
Tell me.
Currently, I'm the director of a beautiful organization called For an Equal Society. Ocho and Ips do the workshops at a local school. We created an after-school program within different domains. One of those are the name is Studio Lab, Studio Laboratorium. And we built a studio within the school. And it's a partnership with BMG, huge music label. And what we try to do is create a artist development journey for the children so they can be connected with the corporate world in a very early stage. Our main focus is it takes a village to raise a child. So it takes Brian, it takes Ocho and Ips, it takes this whole room of people to develop and create a positive, not only energy, but also positive impulses in the life of youths. We need to stop talking about chances, but create multiple opportunities for them, just to make them really independent. That's our mindset, and that's our main goal within the system. So we work with government, with governments, but also people who make policy. And we try to upload the emotions of people from the Southeast or places that look like Amsterdam Southeast into that system. So within policy, that they will change the dynamics and the systems surrounding those people. Yeah.
And Brian, according to you, what systems should be changed? What is the most important thing in the systems that should change?
The way at looking at the system. That's the whole thing. We're born into it, and I look at the constructions. So I'm also a construction builder, so I look at that, and that's the main thing that we don't do, and especially in this in this sort of stad. I don't know how to call it, and I see that we almost be coaches, and not fathers. We almost be there outside us helping, but we don't help us, and that's I see why, and then I see that okay, normally we don't make nothing, and I make my thing already 15 years ago, and I see a lot of people who don't make things. They want to talk a lot, but they don't make nothing for the next one. And all the other things that is already done. But we need something unique to shift the paradigm, and then it's easier to connect with them and to elevate and go further, and then you can point them, okay, go in there. But if you go in there, this and this. Instead of, that you just go to school, I'm gonna write for you. No. What do you know about that? Know thyself, and that's our main goal.
Nice, very nice talking with you guys, but I think it's time for some music. Yeah? Don't you think so? Yeah? Here. Thank you very much. And thank you, Brian. Thank you, Gideon. Yes. Otje and Ibs, we're going to enjoy your music. Thank you so much.
Check. Yo. Wow. Are you guys ready? Check. Lena, let's go. Ja. Zo.
Ik deed voor, maar beter vol dan leeg. Een king is nu aan het woord, dus alsjeblieft praat niet door me heen. Niet waar ik wil zijn, maar het moest zo zijn, dus ik ren nog steeds. Op een vissa, ik denk shit was beter als ik osso bleef.
Veel verloren zielen hier, ze zoeken geluk. Ik moet leren van mijn fouten, dus werp een blik terug. Zij wil buisjes met me doen, ik zei de laat me met rust. Shit. Moet dealen met mijn trauma's, kan niet grijpen naar drugs.
Doe niet druk, want je stopt gelijk wanneer shit je niet lukt. Shit. Je speelt stoere jongen, maar je stress nog om. Binnenkort scheuren in die jeep, maar we komen van bus. We worden rich as fuck, geloof me, dit is geen bluff. Ach, wat zeg je, mijn mannen worden boos.
Nieuwe money, dus ik proost. Avocado op mijn toast, aan tafel met de CEO. Blijf jezelf, je bent niet zo. Jij moet me niet bellen ook. Skip een goeie noepie, ik heb controle over mijn libido. Ben niet veranderd, ben ontwikkeld. Shit, ik ben op ijs, net als wat spikkels.
Neem het over als een wissel, ik weet die lippie is bikkel. Mannen worden comfortabel.
Er is werk aan de winkel.
Voel me beter dan ooit, want ik geef minder fucks. Je energy is niet puur, je kan niet zitten aan mijn locks. Money on my mind, het is niet alles, maar het is een must. Jij zoekt soulmates, maar je soul is trash, vraag blok.
Ik kom van de stoep, je kan het navragen naar stoep. Shawty geeft mijn hoofd, terwijl mijn hoofd zit in een boek. Air Max op mijn patta, ik heb patta op mijn broek. We komen van niks, maar we verbreken nu die vloek.
Ja, praat pap,
jij praat chicks, laat dat. Jij vroeg wat ze aan had, terwijl ik eraan zat. Jij doet veel voor aandacht, maar je haat je maandag.
We veranderen levens, jij dacht dat je aan was.
Ik kan die man weer dissen, maar wat bereik ik er zelf mee? Zijn Amst is al gewiept, dus die story is inmiddels cliché.
Kijk, we zijn niet op beef, maar disrespect, je gaat je chick mee.
Beter doe je kalm, want je hele team is.
Wow.
Ik zei mijn nigga, deze tijd moet je jezelf redden. Als je niet werkt, is er niemand die er werkt met je. Ik kan het zeggen, maar dat ding is, je moet zelf beseffen. Broke zijn is een ziekte, je pesten, maar die kan je besmetten.
Tegenwoordig zijn niks te veel bewijzen. Fuck het, ze laten laten het lijken. Die struggle kan je niet vermijden, je moet het verdienen, je gaat het niet krijgen. Dom als je niet let op je cijfers, armen worden armer, rijken worden rijker.
Maar cirkel klein en daardoor zijn.
Claim real te zijn, dan moet je real blijven.
Praat je geen money, dan komen we niet. Otje plus heeft zijn hele gekke cheats. Maar ik follow de heat, geen zijn prijs, maar Lamsie op de beat. Shout-out zijn prijs, dat is king shit. Ze praten king shit, maar ze weten wie de king is. Doe het niet voor die money, maar die money komt toch shit, dat is een win-win. Praat pap, jij praat chicks, laat dat. Jij vroeg wat ze aan had, hoewel ik eraan zat. Jij doet veel voor aandacht, maar je haat je maandag. We veranderen levens, jij dacht dat je aan was. It's king shit. Thank you. Our next song called Back to the Basic, because we had to go back to the basics for this one. Blenda, let's go, man.
It's our newest single out now on Spotify. Check it out. Technical difficulties.
Yes.
We're back. Yeah. Wow.
Ze vragen zich af waarom zijn die mannen nu nog steeds underrated. We komen van ver, maar we moeten nu weer even back to the basics. Ik wil mijn jongens even, maar ik zie die man zit vast in de matrix. Ik doe wat ik moet doen, aan het einde van de dag, dan moet ik mezelf redden.
Ik fuck niet met veel, maar hou je het 100. Hey, pull up.
Let's rewind it. Let's go, man.
Yeah. We're gonna do that again.
Wow. Let's go. Wow.
Ze vragen zich af waarom zijn die mannen nu nog steeds underrated. We komen van ver, maar we moeten nu weer even back to the basics. Ik wil mijn jongens saven, maar ik zie die man zit vast in de matrix. Ik doe wat ik moet doen, aan het einde van de dag, dan moet ik mezelf redden.
Ik fuck niet met veel, maar hou je het 100 met me, dan fuck ik met je. Meer pas als ik money en al die vrouwen heb of ben je met me.
Wow.
Soms wil ik even alleen zijn, soms wil ik even alleen zijn. Ze wil me weer zien, maar ik kan niet baby, ik heb volgende week tijd.
Shit. Mijn agenda is vol, kan geen tijd voor je maken. Sinds ik meer boeken lees, boek ik meer resultaten. Iets harder werken en een stuk minder klagen. Kan niet levelen met iedereen, ik moet mijn energy bewaken.
Mijn broski braskers en mijn mind op. Word niet comfortabel, pak die grind op. Je wife hard van ons, heeft als line-up. Ik zweer soms lijkt alles op een mindfuck.
Wow.
Daarom focus ik heb geen energie van modder. Die doen alsof ik wil een peace of mind. Ik wil een piece of pussy power, maar deze kings gebouwen boven pussy.
Wow.
We zijn niet hetzelfde, terwijl je aan het haten bent, ben ik aan het rennen.
Yeah.
Leer mezelf kennen, dat beest in me wil naar buiten, was hem te veel aan het temmen. Moet mezelf weer verwennen, ze loeft me en ze loeft die TNO's denim. Ben geen moeilijke jongen, maar je kan me moeilijk maken en dan moet ik je remmen.
Je kan de beste zijn tijdens de training, maar toch wordt het niks als je niet kan presteren. We doen niet aan gokken, maar een gokje wagen is iets wat je vaker zou moeten proberen. In het veld, zo willen me blesseren. Jij zoekt naar beef, maar kan het niet verteren. Ik like nooit de foto's, maar toch is ze in me osso aan het zoeken naar de kleren. Wij zijn op cheese. Dit is Ocho, Ipses en Please. Je moet leren van je verlies. Investeren is mijn advies. Wij pakken alles of iets. Jij geeft van alles of niets. Nu heb je niets. Zoveel mooie dames die hun body tegenwoordig fixen. Ik vind hem maar triest. Ah shit. Spreek je de waarheid, dan ben je negatief. Jij kent die struggle niet, jij hustelt niet. Ik heb niks aan je perspectief.
Je werkt niet genoeg, dus het werkt niet. Je bent los, want je checkt jezelf niet. Je zegt je houdt het 100, oh you better be.
Je zegt je houdt het 100, oh you better be.
Shit. Doe niet alsof. Je denkt ik geef een fuck om wat al die oefens zeggen over ons. Zodat er niks zal stoppen, maar ik wil niet van hoe ver ik kom. Als je iets zegt moet je ready zijn voor de consequenties. Ik ben niet
dom. Shit man.
Doe niet alsof.
Zie je.
Laat je horen.
Make some noise. Make some noise, make some noise.
Slokje water. Moet het in Engels trouwens? Moet ik in Engels praten? Oké, ik ga het proberen. I'm gonna try it in English. The next song is wrote in a very dark space in my life. I wrote it because I was in a space where I couldn't express myself in the right way. So I wrote this because I never had a dad to call and to ask him about where I'm trying to go. So I had a very long, I had very much difficulties to express myself in a way, so I wrote it down in this track right here. Let's go.
Reed, you snapped on this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Een beetje energie voor de pen. Schenk een beetje Henny voor mijn jongens onrood. Je ziet hoe ik geniet van die vibe. Maar soms wil ik met niemand zijn, oh no. Dus ik pak mijn keys en verdwijn. Schat, ik pak mijn keys en verdwijn solo. Ik weet dat je me niet begrijpt. Yeah. Maar vandaag wil ik met niemand zijn, oh no.
Ik moest veel shit kwijt waar ik me jarenlang voor schaamde. Denk dat ik het achterhield, maar liever nu dan later. Vraag me elke dag af waarom ik die keuze maakte. Fucked up, want hoe meer je opkropt, hoe meer schade. Doelgericht, ik moest mezelf eens herpakken. Voelde me sterk, maar tegelijk ook verzwakken. Niet eerlijk naar mezelf, vandaar die slapeloze nachten. Niet honden met mijn jongen, ik moest mezelf eerst snappen. Real zijn met altijd, daarom moet je diep graven. De universe hoort je, dus niet zo negatief praten. Ik zeg dit allemaal, maar ik heb ook mijn slechte dagen. Ik heb ook gevoelens, zelfs kindjes moeten feelings afvaarden. Kwam me laatst pas achter hoe ik echt ben. Niet veel veranderd, maar ik had het nog niet herkend. R.I.P. de oude Ips, dit is het moment dat ik hem herdenk. Nog niet waar je wil zijn, wil niet zeggen dat je niet ver bent. Ach, ik heb het op mijn graf. Den row, ja, dat is fam shit, ik wist het sinds de start. Protect wat van jou is, al voelt het pissie apart. Ben geen goon, maar als je de fam zoekt, wil ik je eraf. Ben niet makkelijk, maar wil ook niet te veel verwachten. Klachten zoveel, maar klachten waren de klachten. Hoopte op verandering, maar hopen is net als wachten. Ik dacht het komt op me af, maar het hield me alleen maar achter. Voor alle angsten die ik had, was ik het bang voor mezelf. Want ik zei nooit help. Hoe kan ik mezelf trusten als ik weet dat dat niet werkt? Ik moest mijn jongens vertellen, want die Libi's al me remmen. Ja, kon een tijdje niet blij zijn. Dankbaar voor waar ik ben, ik kon mijn leven kwijt zijn. Kom van weinig mannelijke begeleiding, veel pijn. Maar fuck je sympathie, ik wil gewoon mijn eigen kwijt.
Een beetje energie voor de pijn. Schenk een beetje Henny voor mijn jongens onrood. Je ziet hoe ik geniet van die vibe. Maar soms wil ik met niemand zijn, oh no. Dus ik pak mijn keys en verdwijn. Schat, ik pak mijn keys en verdwijn solo. Ik weet dat je me niet begrijpt. Maar vandaag wil ik met niemand zijn, oh no.
Yeah, wat your ips. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Our next song is about our heartbreaks. In life, you see that women are the people that get the heartbreaks, but we men, our hearts can also break. So this song is about a young guy. His name is Gili, and we want to protect him from heartbreaks. So let's go.
Wow. Shout out JJ Tracks on the beat.
Yeah. JJ sauce it up.
Wow. Oh.
Kennishub, baby.
Vaak aan met die Amst, dat is toch Gili's wife.
Shit, je hebt gelijk, maar het is geen surprise. Ze is altijd met die jongens die met chicks zijn. Gili is niet hier, zal ze zo zijn?
Ze is hoofdpijn, dat is niet moeilijk te zeggen. Kijk nou hoe ze move, ze heeft het iets te gezellig. Maar zeg maar eerlijk, zou je het hitten?
Zeg je eerlijk, zou het brokken maken. Maar ik heb geleerd, soms moet je die vrouwen ook kunnen laten.
Zo zie je maar weer, het is makkelijker gezegd dan gedaan. Hij kon het niet laten en loopt nu achter de feiten aan. Kan het me niet voorstellen, zo'n chick met mijn achternaam. Was Gili mijn jongen, was ik zeker naar hem toe gegaan.
Zie, ze is een levensgenieter. Als je ze op de gram ziet, zou je denken echte liefde. Het is fucked up, ik hoop voor hem dat hij goed met haar praat. Want als het niet goed genoeg is, is het sowieso al te laat, shit.
Je moet werken naar jezelf, Gili.
Stop met spelen, want je ziet dat het niet werkt, Gili. Waarom neem je nog genoegen met de helft, Gili?
Focus op je money, dadelijk breekt ze nog je hart.
Een man met een gebroken hart laat vaak over zich heen lopen. Dingen doen uit wanhoop, nu kan je alleen maar hopen. Geen pap hebben, maar toch spullen voor haar willen kopen.
Geen pap hebben, shit, je denkt alleen aan klaarkomen. Denken met je dik, dat gaat je skeer houden. Beter ben je op die money, want money brengt veel vrouwen.
Vrouwen hebben is goed, maar maak het geen prioriteit. Want als je dat doet, word je al boos als ze kijkt naar mij.
Belangrijkste is het beste uit jezelf halen. Kom uit je comfortzone, een king is niet bang om te vallen.
Falen en angst hoort erbij, zolang je niet opgeeft. We kennen dark days, maar we zijn er nog steeds.
Als je minder fucks geeft, is die lippie beter.
Test er maar bij je chick, je gaat zien hoe ze je gaat chasen.
Maar voor Gilly is het allemaal te laat. Ik durf te wedden dat ze met die kill naar Oslo gaat.
Hey. Je moet werken aan jezelf, Gilly. Stop met spelen, want je ziet dat het niet werkt, Gilly. Waarom neem je nog genoegen met de helft, Gilly? Focus op je money, dadelijk breekt ze nog je hart. Voor Gilly, man.
Geen problemen, geen problemen. Laatste.
The next tune, we wrote this one in the year of the pandemic, Corona, 2020 to be exact. And this is one of our favorite tunes we have online, and it's called Geen Problemen. Let's go. Ja. Word wakker, ik heb veel shit aan mijn hoofd. Geen zin in mensen, dus ik ga weer even ghost. Kan niet meer broke zijn, ik ga liever dood. Maar ik ga het maken, want dat heb ik mezelf beloofd. Ja, ik zoek money, geen problemen. Ik was mezelf kwijt, nog steeds op zoek, maar het gaat beter. Ik had zoveel love voor jou, maar ik kan geen fucks meer geven. Oh lord, zoveel feest kan er niet tegen. Moet er maar mee leven. Ik zat op de bodem, dus ik moet mijn fucks verdelen. Ik kan me niet stoppen met stekken. Wie blijft zonder protection? Jij bent oud nieuws, net action. Ik fuck alleen met die echten. Ben ik king, wanneer ga je beseffen? Het is mijn tijd is altijd geweest, dus ben er nog steeds. Kom van niks, had geen money op de bank, maar ik zou zijn als ik nu opgeef. Opgeven is geen optie, voel me die jongens is weet. En ik hoef niet met je chick te zijn, maar ik wil dat je weet. Ze klept met de ass op mijn lap, ik flex, denk yes, ze is sowieso wet. Ze is echt, kan ik fucken met de rest, pussy is clean, dus ik heb me net snack. Wow, voel me zo gestrest, maar ik weet het is een test. Ja, ga niet fulltime, dus Libby gaat vers. Ja,
Libby gaat vers.
Zijn jullie nog aanwezig? Ja, sure?
Ja. Heb moeite met genieten van het moment, kan alleen maar denken aan later. Heb niks geskipt omdat ik het gevoel had dat ze me een beetje vertraagden. Familieman, maar op familiefeestjes kom ik laatste tijd niet op dagen. Ben niet in de mood, ik ben in de boot. Meng emoties niet met mijn zaken. Ik moet denken aan mijn toekomst. Niemand gaat shit voor me doen. Vroeger was alles niet beter, maar af en toe wil ik wel terug naartoe. Mijn chick zegt ik ben egoïstisch en daarom wil ze niet meer met me zijn. Voel me een type away, maar wie per andere chick en zo verstaan.
Vies in mijn pijn, Ik zoek money, geen sensatie. Baby, alsjeblieft, denk aan je reputatie. Mijn ziel is toe aan een vakantie. We nemen risico's, we kennen geen garanties.
Grill in mijn bek en die zit het shine net als
glitter.
Je doet interessant, maar heel je koude leven staat hier zo op Twitter. Je chick plakt in mijn team, is ze bekend als sticker. Zoveel bullshit meegemaakt, maar het maakt me niet bitter. We komen echt van nada. Vroeger moest ik zelf matten, ik had nooit op Prada.
Ja. Geen probleem, geen probleem.
I hope you guys enjoyed some hip-hop from the Belmer. It's Ocho and Ips.
Check us on Spotify, Ocho and Ips. And let's go, man. Have a great evening.
Yeah. Well, I really understand why you got nominated, and it's really nice to also hear your vulnerability, because that's also a very important thing that you're showing, the vulnerability of men. So thank you. I think another warm applause for Ocho and Ips. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then for now, I would like to invite Philippos and Igor. Where are you? Philippos and Igor? Yes. Please join me on stage for a moment. Hi. Good to have you. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Yeah, good myself. Hi, Igor. Welcome. Because I want to talk with you because you're alumni, right?
Yeah.
From
MS.
From
AMSIP.
AMSIP.
Almost alumni from AMSIP.
Good, good. And let's talk about because you're encouraging transnational and intercity connection. Tell me, why do you think that is important?
Well, if I'm going to talk about the Bijlmer, for example, the Zuidoost, well, if I'm going to talk personally, as soon as I arrived here, I heard some, let's say, some characteristics about this area that I did not see myself. So I chose to see my own image of this area, and I saw the culture within the music, I mean, as we all just saw now. And I thought it would, it's, you know, in an individual level, I always, whenever I heard something about the Zuidoost, I made sure that people knew exactly what this place was. I've been living here 5 years, and I'm thankful for this place.
Yeah. And also, and for you, Igor.
Please repeat the question.
Yeah, why do you think why do you encourage this transnational and intercity connection? So let's say the connection between cities. Why is that important?
It's very important because like we have a different culture and it's good to learn from each other. So basically when you connect the city, you learn the best expertise from one city and you bring it to another city. So you're just basically like moving the best practices and learn from each other.
Yeah, and another thing that I think you're very much interested in is also the nightlife, right?
The nightlife of the Zuidoost, or well, I wouldn't say necessarily the nightlife. I was more interested in the music of this area and the people. And I guess the nightlife, if we're talking about the concerts and all of that. But mostly I'm interested.
No, actually, I was talking about the importance of the nightlife.
Oh, okay. But what do you mean exactly by nightlife, if I may ask?
Well, I was told that you're interested also in that was the importance of nightlife and why it is important. So can you tell me on that?
So like I wrote a thesis, like a study about like nightlife economies, so how like basically everything what is happening in the night and how it's influenced the development of the area.
Okay.
And it was international study, so Berlin, Amsterdam, and Tel Aviv. And then I looked at the best practices there and how it's actually developed, because there's also areas in Berlin and Tel Aviv which have a similar history as Weimar, but they developed because of the clubbing, because of the different type of people inclusivity and all this kind of bohemia lifestyles.
Yeah.
So I was looking into that.
So that is interesting to see and to look at the different cities and what is happening there.
Yeah, of course it's interesting because you can learn a lot, and there's a lot of different ethnic minorities or just minorities, which is prefer like for instance my not specialization, but I was looking a lot in the techno clubs, and it's specific type of people, it's specific codes, it's specific way of partying. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. So it's nice to hear from students as well the interest in places like Zuidoost, and thank you so much for elaborating on that. Thank you. Thank you. And then. Yeah, thank you. And then to close off this afternoon, I would like to invite, for the last word, so to say, and I'm struggling here with everything that I'm holding in my hands. I would like to invite the partners of today. And so I would like to invite Damien de Gies, and I would like to invite Sascha Krotolica, and Anna Raposo, and Christian Steinrauber, yeah? Yeah. Are you still here? Yeah. It has been a long day. It has been a long day. So I'm just curious for some closing remarks. Please come along. Come on this side. And I will get somewhere here in the middle, yeah? And then Christian, if you come here. Thank you. I give the mic to you. Thank you. And let me step in the middle. Come here, Christian. Come here. Yeah. Sorry. Now we are done. So I'm really curious. So you came here to Zuidoost and you met each other here today. I'm really curious to hear your findings. Please give me some insight about this day, what it meant for you.
Wow, it's a long day. We are really thankful for having us here. We're coming from Barcelona, Paris, Vienna, Lisbon, and it's such a pleasure to enjoy also the outputs, but not our intellectual outputs, but like your outputs of this neighborhood and all this beautiful music, food, cocktails that are coming out. So thank you very much for this welcoming Zuidoost. It's really a pleasure. And also we see so many links with our neighborhoods. For example, Raval in Barcelona, which is a periphery that's in the center of the city, but still has some problems, but also these beautiful solutions that come up from the intercultural collaboration. So thank you for having us, and thank you for this.
Thank you. And how is that for you, Christian? Because we started this morning, and you know, and now it's the end of the day. And like she said, there are a lot of connection, a lot of new insights, and I think already the fact that you recognize certain things is very, very helpful.
I'm very thankful that today I could really get to know the Amsterdam Zuidoost. It's the 5th time for me being at the university building, and I have seen Johan Cruyff Arena and the Bilmer, so the Freidenburg building, but not being part of or getting to know what really happens in Amsterdam Zuidoost. So thank you very much that we can be guests here, and we feel very welcome here. And yeah, I hope that that we can also give this opportunity to other people coming to our city areas, which are not well known. And we also provide much more than, I'm from Vienna, more than Mozart balls and classical music and so on. So so I hope you visit Vienna as well and get to know these other impressions, these other sides, this colorful side of Vienna.
Yeah. I think that's the intention, right, Anna?
Yes, that's the intention, to share and to create and map the imaginaries of every one of us. So I think the map from now on is more rich, it's bigger, and we hope we can continue to cooperate and to give more visibility to these areas.
Yeah. Last but not least, Damien, this morning you had a speech. That was years ago. Where's your microphone?
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay.
No, I prefer it this way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, so this morning I was talking about how human nature doesn't really change. And I think what we've seen this afternoon is that people are very similar. And there were a lot of messages. I didn't like all the music, I'll be honest, okay? But some of the messages I like very much. And I thought that the songs and the explanations by Ocean were fantastic. I thought your franchise and honesty was refreshing, because I think that sometimes the world of academia and teaching is very far removed from the reality. And it was very interesting and inspiring to hear you and to see you creating something as well. Because if we don't create, then that energy becomes very, very bad and it turns around on itself. And be that sport, music, painting, whatever, if you are creating, that is the most beautiful thing.
So that was to Ocho and Ips, I think a good compliment. Yeah. Thank you. Wow, very good. Well, thank you very much, everybody, to be here with us together here at New Metropolis Zuidoost. And thank you all for being here with us and celebrate this day, this image summit with views. And I wish everybody, also the people that are looking back, thank you so much for looking back. And I'm looking forward to new connections, and I'm sure that a lot of the connections were very much established today and probably more in the future. Have a good day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.